Phil Knight nearly destroyed his own company chasing an impossible dream. In 1971, the 33-year-old Stanford MBA graduate found himself drowning in debt, owing massive amounts to Japanese suppliers while American banks slammed their doors shut. His athletic shoe company was hemorrhaging money faster than he could raise it, and every business advisor told him to quit before he lost everything. But what Knight did next would either save his company or destroy his life completely. Picture this scene playing out in boardrooms across America. Here's a young entrepreneur with a radical idea that running shoes could be made better and cheaper in Japan, while every established athletic company insisted American manufacturing was the only way. Knight believed he could build a business importing high-quality Japanese running shoes to compete against established giants like Adidas and Puma. Most people thought he was delusional, but Knight saw an opportunity that others missed entirely. In 1962, fresh out of Stanford Business School, Knight wrote his MBA thesis on a crazy hypothesis. He argued that Japanese companies could produce running shoes with the same quality as German competitors, but at significantly lower costs. His professors were skeptical, but Knight became obsessed with proving his theory correct through actual business implementation. Knight traveled to Japan with $1,000 borrowed from his father and pitched his import idea to Onitsuka Tiger, a relatively unknown Japanese athletic shoe manufacturer. The Japanese executives were intrigued by this confident American who spoke passionately about their product's potential in the American market. Knight convinced them to let him become their exclusive American distributor, despite having no business experience whatsoever. Back in Oregon, Knight started his company Blue Ribbon Sports from his parents' basement with his former University of Oregon track coach Bill Bowerman as his business partner. They invested $1,000 total and began selling Tiger running shoes from the trunk of Knight's green Plymouth Valiant at track meets across the Pacific Northwest. For the first several years, Knight maintained his day job as an accountant while building his shoe business nights and weekends. He would drive hundreds of miles to track meets, set up a card table, and personally sell shoes to runners one pair at a time. The profit margins were thin, but Knight reinvested every dollar back into inventory and expansion. By 1971, Blue Ribbon Sports was generating significant revenue, but Knight faced a catastrophic cash flow crisis that threatened to destroy everything he had built. The company owed $1.2 million to Onitsuka Tiger for inventory shipments, while American banks refused to extend credit lines to what they considered a risky import business with an unproven track record. Knight found himself caught in an impossible financial squeeze. His Japanese suppliers demanded payment for shoes already shipped, but his retail customers paid slowly, creating a dangerous gap between when Knight owed money and when he collected revenue from sales. Traditional banking relationships that established companies relied upon were completely unavailable to his unconventional import operation. The situation became even more desperate when Knight discovered that Onitsuka Tiger was secretly negotiating with other American distributors behind his back. The Japanese company was considering terminating their exclusive relationship with Blue Ribbon Sports and selling directly to larger American retailers who could pay faster and order bigger quantities. Knight realized he was about to lose everything unless he made a dramatic strategic pivot. Instead of continuing to depend on Japanese suppliers who could cut him off at any moment, he decided to create his own athletic shoe brand with original designs and manufacturing relationships he could control directly. This decision required Knight to risk everything on an unproven concept. He would have to find new manufacturing partners, develop original shoe designs, create a brand identity from scratch, and compete directly against established athletic companies with massive marketing budgets and retail relationships built over decades. Knight and Bowerman began developing their first original athletic shoe design, experimenting with innovative materials and construction techniques in Bowerman's home workshop. Bowerman had always modified existing shoes for his track athletes, but now they needed to create commercially viable products that could compete with established brands. The breakthrough came when Bowerman poured liquid urethane into his wife's waffle iron, creating a revolutionary sole pattern that provided better traction and lighter weight than existing running shoe designs. This waffle sole technology became the foundation for their first original shoe model and gave them a genuine competitive advantage. Knight hired a graphic design student named Carolyn Davidson to create a logo for their new brand for $35. Davidson designed the now famous Nike swoosh, inspired by the wing of Nike, the Greek goddess of victory. Knight wasn't completely satisfied with the design initially, but they needed a logo immediately and hoped it would grow on people over time. In 1972, Knight launched Nike with their first original shoe model at the US Olympic Trials in Eugene, Oregon. The timing was perfect because the running boom was just beginning in America, and Knight positioned Nike as the innovative choice for serious athletes who demanded superior performance from their equipment. The gamble paid off spectacularly. Nike's combination of innovative technology, aggressive marketing, and athletic endorsements created explosive growth throughout the 1970s and 1980s. Knight's company went from near bankruptcy to generating $2.1 billion in annual revenue by 1991, transforming into one of the world's most recognizable brands. Knight's willingness to risk everything on his vision when conventional wisdom suggested retreat demonstrates the mindset required for extraordinary entrepreneurial success. He understood that breakthrough innovations often require entrepreneurs to bet everything on unproven concepts that established players dismiss as impossible or unprofitable. Today, Nike generates over $47.7 billion in annual revenue and dominates the global athletic apparel market. Knight's story proves that the biggest business successes often emerge from moments when entrepreneurs choose to double down on their vision despite facing seemingly impossible odds and universal skepticism from traditional business establishment. The lesson from Knight's journey is that extraordinary success requires extraordinary risk-taking at critical moments when failure seems more likely than success. Knight's willingness to abandon his safe import business model and create an original brand from scratch shows why the most successful entrepreneurs often succeed precisely because they refuse to accept conventional limitations.